Hello, my name is Karen Hughes, and I am the Domestic Violence Clinical Services Coordinator for the Life Crisis Center, and I want to welcome you to Life Crisis Today. We often have folks who need to leave the home and leave home in a hurry for safety, and we have a safe house. And we're going to be talking about that as to what is the safe house, what to expect if you need it, how do you access it. And with me today is the Director of 24/7 Services, Erica Hunter. Welcome, Erica.
Thank you, Karen.
Yeah. The hotline is how we access anything that we do. But
Sure, yeah.
the Safe House has been around for a while, but let's talk about it. Let's talk about the Safe House. What is it? We call it a safe house. So it's kind of people's places where they live for a little while.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so the distinction of safe house as opposed to a shelter, we really like to make that distinction because we're not a shelter.
Right.
We're a safe haven for victims of intimate partner violence
Right.
or sexual assault. And so it's a place for them to come if they're running, if they're fleeing
Right.
imminent danger. It's a safe house for them. So, yeah, we don't prefer to use the term
Shelter.
shelter.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also know that a lot of folks, when they come in, or I've been trying to get somebody to come in for safety, they'll come in and they're like, this is much nicer than I thought. I think they think it's like a great big room with bunches of beds lined up, and that's not what it is.
It is not. Again, because, well, some safe houses are structured differently.
Right.
I do believe ours is it's structured not like most. And so again, people think it's a shelter. And so, we do have communal living. They share a kitchen and a great room with a living room, dining room. And we have a playroom for all of the kids, but they have individual rooming. And so we have a room for singles. We have them all in one room, and then we have 3 other family rooms.
Right.
So there is some aspects of sharing.
Right. They're not going to have a room by themselves most often.
Most often, yes.
Yeah, they do have to share.
They have to share, well, not if it's a family.
Okay.
Every now and again, we have some, like if we have a mom and a child,
Right.
and then another mom and a child, we may have to put them in the same room. We only do that if there's space issues,
Right.
though.
And it's not a lot of people. 18, 19 people?
We house up to 18.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's for women and children.
Women, children, and men.
Right, but we don't have them at
Correct.
the safe house.
Yes, correct. So the safe house, the building is for, or the sleeping areas, I'll say,
Right.
is for women and children.
Right.
We do support men
Yes, we do.
of intimate partner violence.
Yes.
We don't support their living arrangements at the safe house.
Right,
But
we
we
have
do have other options for men.
Right. To keep them safe too.
To keep them, absolutely,
Yeah.
because they're victims too.
Right.
And then, but they do have the option
Right.
and the opportunity to come to the safe house, wash their clothes, cook some food.
Right.
So they have all of the same privileges that, or opportunities. I won't say privileges, opportunities that women and children have.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not a long stay, but it's long. Like a lot of shelters, it's only 30-day stays.
Yes.
We're a little bit longer than that, but it's not long term.
It is not long term. So we are up to 60 days.
Okay.
And again, that's lenient. I'll say that leniently because there are some circumstances or situations that could cause someone not to be there for 60 days.
Right.
But the goal is up to 60 days. And at the end of the 60 days, and not just us at the safe house, but all of us, all of the services that we provide, the goal is to get them at a place where they can live independently.
Right. Right. So, how would somebody come to the safe house?
So there are multiple ways.
Okay.
The most common is we will get a phone call from the police department or the hospital. And normally, so if the police call us, they're calling us with a lethality, what we call a lethality form. And a lethality is basically the form we use to gauge how dangerous their situation is.
Right.
And so sometimes people screen in, and sometimes people don't screen in.
Right.
But that's not an indicator of whether or not you will be accepted.
Okay.
And so the police will call and give us lethalities and say, hey, I have a person, and we talk to the person and we kind of figure it out. A lot of times the people don't want services. We also get phone calls from the hospital. The hospital will call us sometimes with lethalities, but most time they're calling us because they have a situation. We have a beautiful woman that we talk to often, and she'll call and say, hey, I have a woman here who is either in a DV situation or a sexual assault situation, and she'll say, can you send an advocate? And an advocate is another service of Life Crisis Center, and we have advocates that will go to court with our people, our victims, and advocates that will go to the hospital.
Right.
And really, the goal of an advocate is to just be a support system, to support them, to sometimes have resources for them. So that's how we find out. And then we also will get calls on our hotline, again, from the police, maybe from the hospital, maybe from a relative. I have a person, I know and we do have to talk directly with the victim.
Right.
And so, but then
I know I
victims
work
themselves,
with clients too that I try to
yes.
oh, please. And they finally say yes. And yeah.
Yeah, that's another way. Thank you for saying that, because a lot of times, or sometimes, our clinical staff, our therapists, our trafficking team
Right.
will call and say, hey, we have
Yeah.
a person. And then we evaluate them the same way we evaluate
Right.
everybody.
Right.
And we do that again with a lethality form, with a lethality checklist, and then a lethality form.
Okay.
And then we do a checklist.
Okay.
And so once we get to the point where we're doing a checklist, they'll call in the hotline or they'll talk to you, and we get on the phone with them. And the checklist is, so the persons have to typically be in imminent danger. There has to be imminent risk or imminent danger, fleeing from imminent risk or imminent danger. We'll get a call of somebody who was in a situation 6 months ago, and in essence, they're homeless in the moment.
Right.
Again, we'll talk through those things, and we will sometimes make exceptions, but again, we're not a huge hotel, so we don't have a ton of space, and we have to be very careful.
Right.
And then so that the requirement is that they are imminent risk, imminent danger, fleeing, that kind of thing. They call in, we do a checklist. Whoever the crisis specialist is in the hotline or in the safe house, they take the checklist, all of the information, and then they will then call an on-call supervisor. And there are 3 of us. The safe house supervisor, myself, and then 24/7 assistant director. And one of us are always on call. And we will make the decision based on what the situation looks like.
Right.
If and honestly, sometimes like we've had situations where they are in imminent risk, they're in danger, there's imminent risk here, but because of the situation we currently have in the safe house right now, or situations, we may have to try and figure out. So we do need to help them and take care of them, but we might not be able to bring them into the safe house.
Right.
We've had a situation where there was like a 15-year-old, a mom with like a 15-year-old son,
Right.
and we have young 2 to 3-year-olds, and they're always supervised by their parents, but sometimes we have to make decisions to figure it out in other ways.
Keep everybody safe.
Once we make the decision whether or not they're accepted or approved, the crisis specialist will then call them back and say, hey, you've not been approved for this reason, but we can offer you other resources.
Right.
You have been approved.
And this is where you go and how you
and
come.
this is how it happens. And usually on that phone call, always in that phone call, the crisis specialist will say to them, you are approved. I just want to let you know that it is initially a 72-hour, I don't want to use the word hold, but
Evaluation?
a 72-hour evaluation period.
Okay.
Because, again, not often, but sometimes we have situations that we just can't really help.
Right.
And we don't know that we can't really help.
Until they get there, yeah.
Until they get to us. So
Right.
we'll let them know, just so you know, there is a 72-hour evaluation period. You'll have case management within the 72 hours. You'll talk to the Safe House supervisor, and we'll figure out a plan, and or let you know if if it works for us.
Yeah.
I don't know that we've ever in the 72 hours. It is possible, but it covers us in case we have to
say no. This isn't a
in
good
case
fit.
it's just not a safe
fit.
situation for any of us.
Right.
And
Yeah.
sometimes we don't know that until it happens.
Great.
And then we tell them all of the things. You can bring this, you can bring that. They come in and they do intake. And usually when they come in, we often want to, it is really important to us, to myself, to the Safe House supervisor, and really to our executive director, that they know that this is a safe place. Like, this isn't, you don't have to, tiptoe or be afraid. And so it is always our desire. It's our biggest desire to make it safe for them.
Right.
And then also to make it comfortable.
Yes.
People are coming from a situation where they have had a lot of restrictions, where they don't know how to handle money.
Right.
Some families come into the Safe House literally with the clothes on their back.
Yes, they do.
That has happened often,
Yes,
actually. And so, again, it's important to all of us that we have the things there that they need. And if we don't have the things there that they need, we figure it out.
Right.
Because we want them to have what they need, to
Right.
feel comfortable, to feel safe. There's food in the kitchen. You can cook.
There's a laundry room.
There's a laundry room.
Yes.
There's a playroom for your kids. There's, you can cook. You can wash your clothes. Obviously we have rules, but
Yeah.
in terms of restriction, we want people to feel safe.
Right.
And it's our goal to make that happen.
Well, let's talk about the communal living, because
Okay.
I don't think it's always easy. I remember
No, it's not.
living in a dorm. Hello, it's not always
No,
easy.
it
It can get a little dicey sometimes. Yes,
absolutely.
But yes, you already said sharing a room, and there's the great room and the kitchen and the dining area, and they share that space.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So again, most of the time, unfortunately, the only persons who will share are singles, because our room is equipped for 4 single women. The rooms are usually, it's our goal to put families in the rooms. But again, there are times that we might have a mom and 1 kid, and another mom and either 2 kids or 1 kid, and we will only put people together if we have to. Like if we have a situation,
full.
we have to accept this person, so we're gonna have to put you guys together. And sometimes, it's not great.
Roommates don't always get along.
Roommates don't always get along, but again, there is a huge communication period. There's case management that happens weekly. And then the residents know that, they can communicate with us. And we try to make it clear, you're sharing space. We have daily room checks. We try to make it very clear that, this is a space that you're sharing. We've never had come to blows. Well, maybe once. We've almost did. We had to separate them.
Yes,
we had to put them in separate rooms. But honestly, the communal living And I think it's because of how we have it, what we do, how it's
It's more therapeutic than just a
it
house.
is. It
Housing.
is.
That's yeah.
And one of the things we remind them, it makes me laugh because a couple of months ago we had a group of women who were amazing. They're all amazing, but they all came from some very rough backgrounds, and so they were all in survivor mode. And being in survivor mode, there's some lashing out and that kind of thing, and so we had to do a lot of reminding. We are all here for the same reason.
Right.
Our situations, how we got here, or why we are here, might look different. What we came from might look different. It's sometimes a culture shock for some people,
Right.
and then for some other people, it's a safe haven. Well,
Right.
for all of them, it's a safe haven, but the living conditions can be a culture shock for some people. So we have to often remind them we're all here, and we like to, myself and our Safe House supervisor Jody, we like to remind them y'all are the same. You are here for the same reason, and so we need to figure out how we get along, because we're all here because we are victims, and so we need to treat each other that way.
I also know that we have a playground for the kids.
We do. We have an amazing playground.
I know.
It's brand new. An amazing playground. We were so grateful to have that playground. We had a nice playground before that, but it was so important to Jamie, our executive director, she was probably more excited than most of us when she started talking about all of the things that we would have in the playground, and it's beautiful.
It is.
It's amazing.
Definitely.
I remember when we first got it, and we had a set of kids there, and they were so excited about going out, but they had to wait a few days until we could get the clearance.
Right.
And they asked every day, and then when we finally got the clearance that they could go outside, they loved it.
Yeah.
They loved it.
It's also a safe place
playground.
too.
It is a safe place.
So that they can feel safe, that they don't have to worry about being found or.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, so safety is huge.
Yes.
Safety is huge to a lot of people. We have some victims who are on alert all the time.
That hypervigilance.
Yes. And so we have cameras, we have alert systems, we have systems that, only we know about that helps keep us all safe. But we have women who are very much safety. It's because they were never safe. Yes. They never felt comfortable. They never, and it takes a while for them to get comfortable. Sometimes people don't want to burden us. I love to tell the story about the Oreos and how we had a woman and kid who came in. I can't remember if it was one or two kids, but a mom and her children, I think it was just one kid, came in. And what we like to do is there anything special that you want that we can get from the grocery store? Because again, we're trying to create safety. We're trying to create comfortability. We're trying to release restrictions. And so this woman just refused. No, we're fine. We don't need anything. And again, everything that they need, we have, food and all of that. But, and so, I kept asking, are you sure there's nothing you want? Nothing special that you want, just for comfortability? And she said no. And then one day she came to me and said, well, I don't remember what the cereal was, but she was like, can we get some Cocoa Puffs for my son? I said, sure, absolutely. Can we get is there anything special that you want? And she just kept saying no. And then one day she came into my office. I wasn't in this position yet, but I was at the Safe House desk. She came into the Safe House office literally with tears. I got chills just thinking about it, with tears running down her face. And I said, are you okay? And she said, can I please have some Oreos? I'm about to cry just thinking about it.
Oh, wow.
And she said, and whenever we would ask her, she would say, I don't want to be a bother. We don't want to be a bother. And when she asked for those Oreos, she said I was never allowed to have Oreos. Can I just have some Oreos? I said, honey, I'll buy you a whole box of Oreos. You can have all the Oreos in the world. Because that was a
treat
moment for
yes.
her
to say, I'm
she let her
reclaiming
guard
me.
down. She's reclaiming herself. She's,
Yeah.
you know, there are no restrictions. You can have all the Oreos you want, you know.
Right.
And coming out of that mind frame of I'm not in a controlled environment anymore.
Right.
I'm not in a restrictive environment anymore. I really can, of course, with reason, you know, do what I want.
Yeah.
It's that moment is really why we do what we do.
Right. Yeah. I also know the adults have we talked about the playground, but I'm thinking of the adults when they need a private place.
Yeah.
And it has some, like a garden atmosphere
They
to
do.
it,
They
where they can sit
do.
and just be adults.
And they love it out there.
Yeah.
They spend a lot of time out there. It's called our smoking area because it's the only place on the property that moms can go out or residents can go out and smoke. But honestly, a lot of times they go. It's a nice little fenced in. There's trees and
gardens and flowers.
Gardens
Yes,
and flowers.
yes,
We're
yes.
working on prettying that up some more. But trees and nice furnitures, nice furniture, nice patio furniture, and they just go and sit out there.
It's
They're
very
not
peaceful.
always smoking.
Yeah,
There are
very
some women
peaceful.
who don't smoke. They just go out because it's
Yeah.
extremely peaceful.
Right.
Very, very peaceful. And
Yeah.
sometimes they just need those moments.
They
Sometimes
also
I go sit out there. I need a moment.
yes. There are some rules like curfew,
Sure.
because we need to know that they're safe.
Absolutely. In terms of rules, once again, it's not our goal to make it restrictive.
No.
It is our goal to help them be successful. To help. Sometimes we have to help with boundaries because some people aren't familiar with that, and so
They weren't allowed to have any.
they weren't allowed to have any. Yes, and so we do have curfew, and again, the majority of our rules are for safety reasons. And so we do have a curfew, and residents do know that. They are told all of our, I hate using the term rules, but all of the things that's necessary when they first come in. For intake, and so they sign off that they've read our crisis specialists and safe house counselors. They have to read word for word, and they sign off that they've heard it and they know what is required of them. And so yes, there's curfew. There's no one can know or have access to them while they're at the safe house.
Right. They can't tell them where
they cannot
tell where they are.
And sometimes it's hard for people because, I can't tell my children where I am. I can't tell my sister. You cannot. And again, there are some restrictions or some situations where mom is coming to pick her up and take her to the doctors or something. And in those cases, they have to sign a confidentiality form.
Right.
But they aren't able to tell people where they are. They aren't able to video. They can't FaceTime. We can't,
No,
because it's safety. This
Right.
is their safe haven.
Right.
And even, you could FaceTime and have somebody in the background.
Right.
You could take a picture.
Oh, I recognize that background.
Yeah. I know that face, and you not even realize that you got somebody in the background. And again, all of these limitations are for safety.
Yeah.
They're all for safety.
Yeah.
So sometimes we have the most concerns or issues we have is with that,
Right.
with the limitations. Again, it's not our goal for people to feel restricted, but we do need people to be safe. Again, we have camera systems and all of the things that we have in place for them to feel safe. Some women, we had one woman who, she was terrified of men, terrified. And whenever she learned what the alerts sound like. And whenever they went off, she would run into the office and look at the cameras. And it's what we do too. So whenever we hear, because we're trained to
Yes,
be,
we look up and see.
you know, to
Yeah.
look up and see and be vigilant.
Right.
If we see, especially at night, you know, if we see cars or something that doesn't look, we've had some situations, and so we've learned to be vigilant. And she would run into the office often, and we let her. I mean, if that's what she needs to
for
feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
It's not hurting us. It's not harming anybody.
Right.
So yes, there are rules and restrictions and that kind of thing. But
They
again,
have chores.
all of chores. Yeah, we have a chore list because it is communal living.
Yes, it is.
Again, it's we're all here together. It's for safety. But we
Clean
also,
up after yourself, that type of thing. Yes.
We also are not maids.
No.
Our staff, you know, we have a job. Our wonderful, amazing staff have an amazing staff of wonderful, incredible women, but they're not, or we're not, you know, we're not maids. We're not. It's not our job to clean up after people. And again, that teaches you in a different environment. That teaches you independence on how to take care of yourself.
Right.
And some people need more help than others with those.
Right.
But so a checklist. We have a system where we document literally everything. Again, if someone, you know, they just come and ask us. If it's not, they have a freezer and refrigerator in there. And the kitchen, the communal kitchen, but then we also are fortunate to have some freezers in the back that we're able to kind of stock. And so if they, you know, they just ask, can I get a pack of chicken? Can I? There's no, again, within reason.
Right.
But yeah.
You mentioned case management a couple of times. Can you explain that?
It's because you're not just at the safe house just to be there.
Right.
We got goals. We want you to be
Right. To be able to go and live on your own
go
again.
and live on your own.
Right. In a safe place.
In a safe place.
Yeah.
Yep. Sometimes it's going and living with a family member, or renting a room, or housing with someone. Whatever that is, case management helps us create a plan.
Right.
For whatever it looks like when you leave here.
Right. Now, do they have to pay for the services?
They do not. They do not. All of Life Crisis Center services, which there are a lot, an abundance of services. All of Life Crisis Center services are free, with the exception of, help me, Karen. I know our Visitation Center, and then also our
Abuser intervention
program. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Everything else is free.
Yeah. But we also rely on donations.
We
and I
do.
know the Safe House uses a lot of donations. I know this time of year, sometimes we get people who donate vegetables from their garden. Or, you know, can be adopt a room and make sure that the bedding is cleaned up.
Yeah. All of the Safe House services is free to the victims.
It still costs money.
So Life Crisis Center, and I'm glad you brought that up, is solely, we are a nonprofit. And so we're solely ran off of grants, fundraisers, and donations. And again, you know, we have an amazing executive director who pulls all of that together and, you know, helps create funding streams. But we also get calls from amazing places. We just had a church, Lift Church in Salisbury, come in and paint 2 of our rooms. That's a huge financial undertaking.
Yes.
We have another church for their Serve Day in October who called and said, hey, what can we do? Last year they power washed our buildings. This year they're going to paint the other 2 rooms.
Okay.
So we have agencies. I believe it's one of the police departments who every year they donate to us, and we have some partners, community partners, who we'll say, what's on your wish list? We do have an Amazon wish list, like Crisis Center does. And I think there are separate ones. There's one for the Safe House. And so we do have wish lists. And people will call and say, hey, what's on your wish list? Last year we had an agency. I wish I could remember who it was. But we had an agency who purchased everything on our wish list. Everything. Like down to a crock pot.
Right.
And it was like, that's huge.
Like diapers and formula.
So the biggest needs that the Safe House has is toiletries, body wash, deodorant, shampoo. That is the biggest need. And cleaning supplies. So dish detergent, because it's a lot of what we use a lot of.
Right. Laundry detergent.
Those are our biggest needs. Diapers, wipes. We even take formula donations. We have 2 wee ones in the Safe House right now, and one of them were in need of needing formula.
Right.
So we do take clothing donations and that kind of thing.
But they have to be
some
gently
of that
reused.
Stuff, yep. Some of that stuff we have to vet really good to make sure we don't, again, we don't want our residents to feel like they, if I wouldn't
ripped
wear
up
it,
and dirty and
if I wouldn't
stained.
wear it,
No, I don't want it either.
We wouldn't give it to them. And then sometimes they need those things to go to job interviews.
Yes.
And go to social services.
Right.
And so we want them, to look good and to feel like they have great choices. So yes, donations are extremely important, not just to the Safe House, obviously to the Safe House because we house people, but it's also really important to the agency.
Yes.
The agency in general. So, yes.
It's amazing how we're able to help folks sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be, and then you would be surprised, or maybe you wouldn't. You probably wouldn't be surprised of the things that people come in and ask for.
Yeah.
We have women who need bobby pins and, of course, toothbrushes, toothpaste, that kind of stuff. Whenever they come into the Safe House, the rooms are ready, their beds are made. Again, we're fortunate enough to have linens and sheets and towels and that kind of thing. Underwear is a big need. Underwear, undergarments for all sizes.
All sizes, yes.
And men and women and children.
Yes.
Actually, currently, right now, right this moment, and again, if it's something we need, Jamie's really amazing with, get what
Finding
we
it.
need.
Yes.
But in terms of people donating, undergarments, socks, and I think the other day Jody said to me, we need more shampoos, body wash. So undergarments is really a big need right now. We cleaned out our little linen closet and we're like, man, we don't have a whole lot of, and again, undergarments and stuff of different sizes. So yes, donations is a huge.
I remember one time you talked about they come with the clothes on their back. Well, I remember a mom who came no shoes. She fled.
That happened recently too.
And we were able to get a voucher to have her go get some shoes.
Yeah. We've had that happen recently too. We had a mom come in and we didn't have what she needed. We didn't have her size, and so we got in a car and went to Halo.
Find the vouchers to help them. Yeah.
And we just got it.
Yeah.
So I think we will always figure it out. Again, because we have amazing support from our leadership, and we will always figure it out. But we are also extremely fortunate and blessed to get what we get from people.
Yes.
Because it's a huge help, especially for the Safe House. We have somebody today who said he's bringing some things for another reason, but he has supported us in the past at Papa John's and other agencies. They will donate food and do, not just for the Safe House, but like fundraisers and that kind of thing. And he said, you know what, I'm going to bring pizza for your staff and pizza for the residents.
Oh, that's so nice.
He doesn't have to do that. People don't have to do that. But those those are amazing opportunities.
Right.
And yes,
Those
it's
thoughtful
great
things.
for our residents. But then we also have women who work 24/7, and you bringing in pizza.
Right.
Although Jamie's really great with that too, rewarding every now and again.
Right.
But for people to say, "Hey, I'm gonna just bring pizza just for your staff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send some donuts just so that because they do work crisis 24/7.
Right.
Suicide hotline 211, and then the Safe House for domestic violence and
Right.
sexual assault. They
Right.
are literally 24/7 crisis.
Yeah.
So it's always amazing when people want to reward them for that.
And also birthdays. We try to make sure that
Yep.
anybody that's there and has their birthday get.
We try.
honored.
I don't do great with that because I forget, but we do. Our residents.
We'll do it for each other too.
Yeah, we definitely try and make sure their birthdays
Yes.
are big.
Yeah.
Again, sometimes we fall short because we forget or we don't put their birthdays on a board or that kind of thing. Nothing says today's their birthday. But we do try and make a big deal out of that kind of stuff,
Right.
especially the kids.
Yes.
We make a huge deal for the kids because, again,
And this may be the first birthday party they've had
some of them
in their life.
in some environments, some of our kids, it's really difficult. It's just really difficult for them.
Right.
They leave the safe house and they go into school and, they're very quiet and nobody knows where they are. And,
Well, they're not allowed to share where they
they're
are.
not, no.
Yeah.
And so it's extremely difficult for the children at times. Sometimes
Right.
some of our babies take a little bit to
Yeah.
get adjusted, which I would too. It's not my home. It's not what I'm used to. It's not. And then some people struggle with. We had a woman there just recently who she struggled with how peaceful it was
Because they're
she was
used to
so
the chaos.
chaos.
Yes.
And so it was really difficult for her to be in settledness and
Right.
quiet and peace.
Right.
So there's
Yeah.
so many different, again, not just us, the agency, so many different circumstances and situations. I'm sure you have a plethora of stories. There's so many things that we deal with. But being a safe haven for the community is extremely important to us, to Life Crisis Center, and it's extremely rewarding when you see that one who's been here for 60 days.
And they blossom.
She's got her
Oh my
place,
gosh,
she blossoms,
yes.
and she's moving into a place with her babies and her stuff, and
Right.
it's extremely rewarding.
Yeah. Was there anything we've forgotten to talk about? You've just went over a lot of information.
Yeah, we did. I don't think so.
Okay.
I think we hit it all.
Great. Well, thank you, Erica.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
And thank you for joining us. If you are someone who needs to come into the safe house or you know of somebody that needs it, please call our hotline. Our hotline number is 410-749-HELP. Again, the hotline number is 410-749-4357. Our hotline is always available 24 hours a day. We are part of the 211 system, which is information and referrals. We're part of the National Suicide Line, and that's 988. Please reach out if you need us. We also help with getting protective orders. We have counseling staff. We work to help with human trafficking. We have a whole team for human trafficking, and that's for youth up to age 24. We have a CASA program, which is a court-appointed special advocate. They're volunteers just like our legal and medical volunteers, advocates, but they're special for the CASA program, and that is to help kids who are in foster care, who may need to have a voice in the court system as to what are their needs and how can they make sure the needs they get met. We are on Facebook. We are on Instagram. There's social media. We have a website, www.lifecrisiscenter.org. Please do not struggle. If you need help, reach out. Our hotline is 24 hours a day. Always someone is available. Reach out if you need it. I also want to thank PAC 14 to make this show available. Thank you.